everybody! So here it is, 10 years, 18 movies later, we have finally come to Avengers Infinity War. So Avengers Infinity War is directed by the Russo brothers, who were responsible for such amazing Marvel movies as Captain America Civil War and The Winter Soldier. And this time round, it's a very simple plot. Bad guy Thanos, who's like this massive alien dude, is collecting these Infinity Stones to put into his gauntlet. Once he gets all of those, he's basically going to be the most powerful thing in the universe. So it's up to pretty much every character who's appeared in all the Marvel movies to get together and stop him. Now, I'm gonna admit I have been suffering a little bit of what they call Marvel fatigue. I really like the Marvel movies, but it was more so a case of, from the start, they were just so good because they were refreshing and original, whereas, even though the movies were still really good, they were just maybe churning out too many of them. So, unlike pretty much the rest of the world and a large population of the YouTube community, I wasn't that excited about seeing this film. I was looking forward to it, there's no question about that, and I thought it would be good, but yeah, I wasn't, there's a lot of people who are releasing all these videos leading up to it and stuff, but I just haven't really been that enthusiastic. So when I tell you that this movie is not only the best Marvel movie ever made, but right now, the way I'm feeling, it's up there with the best movies I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. This thing is extraordinary. For starters, it's not a fun, light-hearted movie. There's a lot of humor in it. The script is incredible. Some of the jokes were just really laugh out loud stuff, particularly from Drax of Guardians of the Galaxy. No, this is a really deep emotional experience. This isn't just a movie you go and see. This thing drains you emotionally, for me anyway. And yeah, it definitely was a cinematic experience. In terms of the things I love the most, Thanos is one of the best movie villains of all time. He looked incredible. The CG was so believable. Finally, we've got a CG villain that is just absolutely perfect. Not only things like the skin texture in that, but just every muscle inside the face was moving. Like, it was so believable and authentic. But I just love the way he was written. He wasn't just one of these bad guys who was just doing something bad because he's a bad guy. This guy had emotions. This guy had range and so much depth to him. There's no question that he is the best MCU villain that we've had so far. I love the way that they brought all the characters together, the way that they introduced the Guardians of the Galaxy to Spider-Man and Iron Man and everybody. Like, it was just, it was really cool seeing the way that everything came together, and it was done flawlessly. The chemistry between everybody, these people have come from a background of 10 years of doing these movies together. Sadly, not all the Marvel characters were in this film. I'm not going to spoil anything in this at all. I'm not going to say who, but yeah, not all of them were present. And that's the thing with this movie. My God, it's really hard to talk too much about it because there are a lot of surprises in this film. The trailers have given you nothing really of what to expect. Not just in terms of spoilers and stuff, but just of how heavy this film is. Like, I walked out of the theater just, I still am feeling drained in a way, and I kind of wanted to record this review now while I'm still feeling this way, rather than coming into it tomorrow and going, oh my God, yay, this movie was great. I'm just being really honest with you now. This is how I'm feeling. Visually, the movie is one of the best I've ever seen. Every frame is a work of art. There were some of the scenes, just the backgrounds and things, on other planets and stuff, just looked incredible. There were some literally jaw-dropping scenes in this film. And one of the things that I am so glad they got right was the balance of all these characters. This couldn't have been an easy film to write because you've got, I don't know how many characters, like lead characters, but yeah, they managed to give everyone ample screen time and to do something important. And another really important aspect that this movie got right was elevating the stakes of what our characters had to go through or endure in order to make us feel something for them. Because let's face it, if our characters don't really have that much to fight for, you don't feel for them as much. And yeah, this movie, the things that it puts our characters through in terms of the story, yeah, there was some really harrowing stuff in here. And not only that, the tone of the film was perfectly balanced in terms of the humor and the darkness. Everything just came together so fluidly, and they absolutely nailed it. It's such a shame that this film is not going to get nominated for a screenwriting Oscar, because man, if I was wearing a hat right now, it would be going off to the screenwriters, because they did a perfect job. And this movie really appealed to me in terms of how much the Guardians of the Galaxy were in it, because Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, is my favorite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm also a big fan of Doctor Strange. And yeah, there was heaps of both of those in this movie. And it's not a big spoiler, but I'm gonna warn you that this film ends on a massive cliffhanger. I'm talking the biggest cliffhanger in film history. There was a reason that this film was initially called Infinity War Part 1. So yeah, just be prepared for that. So guys, yeah, I honestly can't fault this film. Everything was perfect. The runtime, 2.5 hours, it didn't, there were no dull moments in the film. Like you did kind of feel the runtime a little bit. I mean, compared to something like Ready Player One, which just went by in a heartbeat. Yeah, this movie, you did feel the runtime, but yeah, there were no dull moments in the film at all. Even the scenes of dialogue between characters was interesting. You know, they were always talking about something that you wanted to hear about. But yeah, cinematography, editing, the score by Alan Silvestri was absolutely amazing. The direction was just phenomenal. Yeah, like I said, this movie, I've got to let it sink in a little bit. It's still really fresh, but yeah, this could very well be up there with the greatest films I've ever seen, just in terms of how thrilling it was while I was watching it, and just the effect it had on me coming out of the theater. You know, it's not often that a movie will elevate it to being a real experience the way that this movie did. And yeah, I am absolutely giving Marvel's Avengers Infinity War a 10 out of 10. And this could very well be a movie that I might do a spoiler review, because, oh wow, there are so many things that I want to talk about that I can't talk about. Yeah, so I might get around to doing that. And as promised, I have a giveaway. I have right here a pop vinyl Star-Lord bobblehead from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I thought was an appropriate prize, being that he was such a prominent character in this film. So, what do you have to do to win this? Well, I'll tell you. Now, once again, I'm not making this too easy. This is going to be something particularly for die-hard Marvel fans, or anyone who's got a little bit of time on their hands. Coming up on the screen, I'm about to bring up a snippet from each of the posters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Every poster going from Iron Man all the way through to Black Panther. Now, all you gotta do is correctly identify, in order of the way they appear, each snippet and which poster it belongs to. Drop your answers down in the comments below, and I'll give this one 2 weeks. So I don't know what the date is, but in 2 weeks' time, on whatever the Tuesday is, I'll get all the correct answers, and once again, draw out a lucky winner, and you will win the bobblehead. So in the meantime, if you have seen Avengers Infinity War, and I have no doubt that you have, because let's face it, everybody on the planet's going to go and see this movie. I would love to know what you thought of it. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.